a few interruptions while I wasn't expected.
So how's the tour been treating you?
Pretty good,
Just
yeah.
got started, I understand.
Yeah, about 8 days. 8 dates so far. 8 shows. About 2 weeks we've been here.
Where have you been like the last few days?
We've been in Phoenix, been in Los Angeles, we did 2 nights at the Greek and the Pacific Amphitheatre. And we did San Jose, Concord, Lubbock.
Lubbock.
So
Now here.
Then we go on to the Midwest after this.
Is the, I guess I would gather New York will be at the end of the tour.
New York will be 29th of November, so we finish the 16th of December.
Now, have the tickets already gone on sale for that? I understand you've sold out Radio City Music
I think
Hall.
so, yeah. Right, that's gone. The 2 nights at the Greek and the Costa Mesa show sold out, which was about 15,000 in over the 3 days, so that was quite pleasing, you know.
And you've already done this venue before, an outdoors.
The venue, when I did it last time, it was much smaller. It was much, they tell me they've rebuilt a lot of it, they've redone it.
Yeah, they've added seating and made it a lot larger and a lot more accommodating.
It's about 3,500 as a basic, and then it goes onto the lawn. So, yeah.
Have you done your sound check yet, or do you?
No, I'm going to go do it after this.
After this.
Yeah.
Is this your only outdoor show, I would imagine?
No, we did Concord was outdoors, 2 nights at the Greek were outdoors, Pacific Amphitheatre was outdoors. I like outdoor gigs, as long as the weather's not too.
Yeah, it doesn't rain. We've been raining every day. I don't know if anyone had told you that.
How long? 4 Scott? Yeah. Okay.
All right. Adamant, take 1. Wyatt Magnum, interviewee. Otis Fisher Productions. The new album, Viva La Rock, is produced by veteran producer Tony Visconti. Now, your first 2 albums were produced by Chris Hughes. Then you and Marco produced the next few on your own. Now you've returned to an outside producer. Tell us, Adam, how you came about to work with Tony.
Well, the decision to get a producer in the first place was, I think, producing your own album is something you kind of do. There comes a time you want to do it. You feel you're in control. You want to do those particular songs that way because you've learned enough through the other producers you've worked with. And with Friend or Foe and Strip, really, we felt we wanted to do it ourselves, the bulk of it, apart from doing some work with Phil Collins on Strip. And when we came to Viva La Rock, we wanted it to be a band album first off, because all the Ants records have really been a combination of Marco and me doing all the guitars. I've always played the bass on the records, all the vocals, so we've had drummers and that. We wanted to make a band album with Bob and Chris. So who could be better than Tony Visconti? He produced our favourite records, you know, the stuff he did with T-Rex and the early Bowie stuff. It was great, and we wanted to make it in London. And his studio's right slap bang in the middle of Soho, where it all happened, so that was where.
We understand you finished recording the new album in March, but it wasn't released stateside here until October. Why the delay?
Well, because I wanted everything to be as perfect as I could make it. I think when you produce albums at the rate we have, and records at the rate we have, after the Strip tour, I felt I wanted to take at least a year to make the album, and we did. We wrote the album very slowly, carefully, waited until Visconti was available, really took our time. When the album was finished, I wanted to do 2 very good videos. I wanted to be in total personally responsible for the artwork, the album cover, shooting it all, and that took a great deal of time to just get the correct photographer, to get all the, you know, the photographs tinted up, to get the typography correct, and to do very much a labour of love on it. So Viva La Rock is really, you know, taken me longer than I think people would normally assume a record to take, but that's the way it has to be now.
How are we doing on the questions?
Doing fine.
Okay. Tell us how you came to work with 2 of your current sidemen, Count Whistling, you might
Witchling.
and Chris De Niro.
Yeah, well, they'd been, I had an 8-piece band, which I toured with Friend or Foe and Strip, which was 2 drummers, 2 guitarists, and keyboard player, there were a lot of guys on stage, and I enjoyed that because after Adam and the Ants was first of a 4-piece, then a 5-piece. Then when I came to America, I felt I wanted to do a sizable show, and I used brass, and I really enjoyed using brass. And then when we decided to make this album, we decided we wanted to just have a very much a nitty-gritty sound, very raw. So the basic basis of that was there with the drummer, Cal Vichlin, who toured with me on 2 American tours, and with Chris De Niro too, who'd also done that. So I just took those 2 guys as the basic skeleton and put the band together. We have, in fact, when we play live, 2 girl singers who are called the Vivas, and Tammy and Terry, and they help me provide the vocal sound. But you know, that's I think it's always good to work with as basic a unit as you can, and it's harder, but it's a test.
Adam, you've been involved in some acting roles lately, including a small role in the film Nomads and the title role in a stage production in England, entertaining Mr. Sloan, as well as this week's episode of The Equalizer.
Equalizer, yeah. Yeah.
What's on the horizon as far as your acting career is concerned?
Well, I think I don't know, on the horizon is just to keep going. I think I want to take my time with acting. I've separated it totally from music. Always have tried to do that. That's why it's taken so long for the work to come through. Making my acting debut in the theatre, I think, was one of the most challenging and scary things I've ever done, but with a play as good and excellent a writer as Joe Alton. I was very surprised to be offered that at that stage in my career. And it was in a very reputable English theatre, the Royal Exchange Theatre, which is like a national theatre. So it was such a test that, having gone through that through 10 weeks afterwards, it was like being put in the Marines. You eventually come out a soldier, you know, you've got to, however dumb you are. So I went through this crash course, and I loved every second of it. It was wonderful. And with Nomads, that was just really a cameo. That took place before Sloan, and it was really doing Nomads and seeing that there wasn't really the acting being offered there, that I did entertaining Mr. Sloan. And then after that, surprisingly, along came CBS with the offer of The Equalizer with Edward Woodward, which I read the part of de Gramont, and I thought I could do something with it, so I did it. You know, I enjoyed that as well. That was great, but totally different from theatre, and then the other things. So in the horizon, now I think I would like to do a film, because it would be an area I've never worked in seriously yet as an actor. I've dabbled, you know, stood there and looked tough. Great. But you can do that in music videos, which is the best place for it, I think. Because music videos, much more fun, they're exciting, and you can be totally tyrannical, you know.
You've recently switched management companies, Adam, to Miles Copeland, who also handles the Police. Has this switch also influenced your acting career, as it seems you're following in the footsteps of Sting by tackling smaller roles and building your career upon that stage?
Well, I think with management, you grow. The time to be involved with someone of Miles Copeland's stature, I think, arrived. He approached me and said, you know, what are you doing, after I'd parted company with my previous management, which was very much a family situation and was very mutual. And with acting, so I'd been involved with acting as early as 1977 with Jubilee. So in a way, I've been watching what Sting's doing and been very impressed with it, because it seemed to have, you know, been a very natural progression for him. By starting in the theatre was really my way of catching up. And I'm not really asking anybody to get me this or that. I think you get yourself what you're going to get. I think destiny provides. Having a good manager never does you any damage, because it's another person to come through the door and say, hey, this has come up. But at the end of the day, I think with acting, no management company or anybody in the world can actually do it for you. You have to get out there and do it yourself. You're given the script and you create something. My relationship with Miles is based on business, profession, and the fact that I actually admire him as a person.
Adam, we understand you wrote the storyboard for the now infamous Honda scooter commercial with Grace Jones. Tell us how you became involved with that project.
Yeah, that was, well, I was very lucky. They were a very young, quite competitive and production company that were given the project by Honda. And they approached me with the idea of this commercial, which was very, I don't know, not at the time. It was a bit of a risk also because it's not very rock and roll to do that kind of thing. A lot of people would look down their noses and say, that's terrible, a singer doing that. But when the name of Grace Jones came up, apparently what had happened was she'd been offered the same thing, and when my name came up, she showed interest, so it was kind of the mutual thing. And they wanted two outsiders, very much on the outsides of things, to come together. So they spoke to her about it, they spoke to me about it. I was on tour and they asked me about, they gave us the lines. They had the stuff worked out, but it was just, because I've always storyboarded the videos, I thought of it sort of as coming in at angles, and they were kind enough to incorporate both Grace's and my own input into the project. That's why it worked, because I think we were so relaxed when we did it. I mean, the 3 minutes took, we were in the studio, it was 105 degrees in there, and we were in there for a solid day just to get those 30 seconds. And there were so many takes, but each take was, I mean, the takes they actually used were outtakes, really. The ones that, the regional ones where you know, she bites my ear was totally spontaneous. That was Grace. You know, so, and the giggles and the looks and everything in there was totally spontaneous. So when you have a situation when that kind of big firm and that kind of money can actually go with something as free as two people enjoying themselves, something must have been right. And I gather now a lot more people are doing it. I think Lou Reed's done one, and Devo, and lots of other people. So you saw it here first, folks.
Adam, tell us a bit about your stage show. We understand you put up quite a bit of your own money to build the set.
I put up all my own money. It's all my own money. I always have. I think it's a good idea because, you know, I think people sometimes go to the show and they think, well, who does all this? Who's responsible for this? And I think it's great if the artist is. It's not financially, it's crazy. It's suicide. I will not make, if I sold every show out, you cannot make money. The idea is to give the audience what you think they want and to grow as an artist, and you can only do that if you push yourself, and you can't push yourself, you know, you've got a space and people have paid to see you, and I think it's great to put in that space something very exciting. And this show has taken me, it's not so much the money, it's the time. It's taken 5 or 6 months to just get the people, the best people in the business, put this show together. People that are responsible for the stage set, designed the wall for Floyd, they did Emerson, Lake and Palmer stuff years ago. They're the best people, and the crew's the best. And to see it come together, and then to do the rehearsals and then go out on the road, you know, you suddenly got this challenge set, you've suddenly put it together, and all the coffee table talk stops, and there it is, and the audience just, you hope they're going to like it. It's like putting together a Raiders of the Lost Ark and hoping the public are going to enjoy it. And I figure that if you earn money from what you do, it's great to be able to put it back in and see it and feel it, because you can see it in their eyes and you can feel it. It's great.
What other surprises can we look forward to in the stage show?
I don't know. I mean, there's starts with a bang, ends with a bang, and a lot happens in between. You know, every night's different. Every night's totally different. It's very improvised, and also the audience have made me feel relaxed enough now to be able to talk to them in a way I never thought I could. And especially being in America, it makes a difference, because it's like a second home now, and I feel the audience is very much warm towards me. And when you speak about whatever's, you know, on your mind, or whatever happens that night, because something always happens that night, and you're playing a guitar and a brassiere flies on and sort of hangs on your you know, on the neck of your guitar. I mean, you don't plan that. You know, what do? You know, somebody runs at you at 15 miles an hour and sort of I mean, they're the things that you can expect to see in one of my shows, and how I handle them, or if I handle them.
What does the immediate future hold in store for Adam Hand?
Well, I'm out here trying to really put 100% into every show, and to hope that people listen to Viva La Rock with an open mind and come and see the show with an even opener mind. I'm not going to go away, and I'm not going to sink, and I'm not going to disappear, so it's really very important to enjoy it, and it's very important that the audience feel that enjoyment coming from you. And I think if you're happy in your work, that's the greatest thing you can, I think, seek out, and that's what I'm seeking out.
These last 3 questions I'm going to ask you, I'd like for you to try to re-answer them rephrase the question as opposed to what I'm saying is that you won't hear my question.
Okay.
So when I answer you the question, I'd like for you to come back at me with the question.
Mm-hmm. Right. Coca-Cola.
What is the worst thing that has ever happened to you on the road?
The worst thing that has ever happened to me on the road took place in East Germany. I was going on a train, the Trans-Europe Express, to Berlin. We were doing a show in Berlin. This is 1978. And they have these very tacky sort of bunks that fold down. Hello, come in. And they fold down the side of the thing, and you climb up to them. And I was in the 4 of us were crammed in this one carriage. And it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're travelling through East Germany. And it's pretty dodgy, because these guys suddenly, you're stopped, and these guys come in and want your passports, and it's terrible. And I was climbing up to my bunk, and all I had was my underwear, I had my underpants on. And I was climbing up to the top of my bunk, and I had my back to the window. And I didn't know, but we'd pulled into a station. And the group thought it was intensely funny to pull back the curtain so that everybody on the platform could see me in my underpants climbing up to my bunk. Until, of course, the window was thrown open and a Sten gun, machine gun, was shoved through the window by a very irate-looking East German guard. And what's going on? And I said, I just said, "Oh, stop mucking about, Dave. Don't be, because I thought it was Dave putting on a German accent, the drummer. And there was deadly silence, and I thought they were just messing about. And I turned around and saw this guy with the gun through the window, and I think that must go down as one of the worst things could happen, because in those sort of places you can just be taken for questioning and never come back. But fortunately, the guy just cracked up, just his face cracked. He smiled, and that was fine. We drove off, and then I hit them with my bunk. That was quite good. That was enjoyable.
What is the best thing that has ever happened to you, Adam, on the road?
Best thing that ever happened to me on the road? What would be the best thing to ever happen to me on the road? That's very difficult, because emotionally there's always things that happen. I think every night when you get that warmth, you go out on stage and it's just crazy. The feeling, I think after the show every night when you've done it, that feeling, you get in the car, and that's a wonderful feeling. Apart from that, I'd say to do, I think the Motown 25 was a moment, a wonderful moment, because it was in the middle of a tour and it came up, and being asked to do that was fantastic. I mean, with just everybody I'd ever listened to as a child or been influenced by, the greats, the late great Marvin Gaye, and suddenly you're there performing. I couldn't believe it. That was quite something.
The last question, also rephrase it after I give it to you. The last question is, what is the one thing that you never forget when you go on the road?
The one thing I never forget when I go on the road is to bring some English tea bags with me, because if I did, I think I'd be lost, totally lost. And, there are certain key things that you should never forget when you go on the road, which you tend to leave at home or in a hotel. But as long as you've got tea and your phone book and things like that, you're all right. And a good book. You need all those things, but try not to forget those. And my trousers, of course, which is, you call them pants, we call them trousers. But that's always a good thing. It doesn't do very good to turn up an interview with no trousers on. Marco's done it a couple of times, but that's why we stopped him doing interviews. But I try to. I wear it all in one jumpsuits now, so that I don't forget them.
The last three.
Yep. You want to do ID? Yeah. Okay, we can switch tapes. Go ahead.
Okay.
Preface.
All right. With the executive producer is Irv Goodenough, who you might be familiar with. He's produced Huey Lewis's Heart of Rock and Roll, Starships Laid on the Line. He's a very well-respected video producer there. It's a test pilot program going into syndication nationally across the United States.
Okay.
And we're set to, so there'll be 3 IDs. One is for MTV, and like I'd like for you to say, "Hi, this is Adam Ant, and keep watching MTV for more of your favorite video music."
Okay. All right.
Or you might want to have a little fun with it.
All right.
You probably are very creative.
Probably not.
Maybe help him out here. What should he say?
Is it keep watching MTV?
Sure.
Or you're watching MTV?
You're watching MTV in stereo. I'm Adam Ant. Hi, I'm Adam Ant, and you're watching MTV 24 hours a day.
Guess who this is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. It's in stereo. All right. Righto. Hello there, I'm Adam Ant, and you're at this very moment watching MTV, music television, in stereo, 24 hours a day. You lucky people.
Good. Very good. The second one is for the Hollywood Roadshow. Hi, this is Adam Ant on the road with the Hollywood Roadshow.
Okay. Hello there, this is Adam Ant, and you are on the road with the Hollywood Roadshow.
Good.
All
The
right.
third one is for the local television. We have a local, like a TV 66 in Boston, it's a local video channel called TV5.
TV5, yeah.
And hi, I'm Adam Ant, and you've got your eye on TV5.
Okay. Right. Hi there, I'm Adam Ant, and you've got your eye on TV5. Keep watching. Okay?
That's great.
Right.
Adam, my pleasure.
Oh, thanks very much.
I got a question.
My pleasure.
Okay.
What do you find out different working outside versus inside?
The heat, it's quite, I mean, you steam, that's a start. I mean,
So
you're like
we have
you're like a racehorse when you take
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
you steam. Also, with your muscles, with your legs, it tends to affect your muscles in a different way. You find it's, towards the end of the show, it's a lot more, you know, you sweat a lot more, and you tend to, after the show, feel really, really whacked, as opposed to indoors where there's just heat, because the heat is lost. Just keeps coming, like they cover racehorses up. But in all, I find the sound much better. I find it much better acoustically.
Sounds great from outside.
On stage, it's good as well.
Outside?
Outside, yeah.
Yeah, different sort of depth.
Well, the volume doesn't smash,
It
doesn't
doesn't smash back on you. It's
Yeah.
it's sunk into the audience.
it? Just sort of goes out on a very broad level.
I have to ask you about the Equalizer. Backtrack 1 second.
Yeah.
Who did you base your character upon? It would look like quite a bit about like Tony Manero from Scarface.
No, I based him on a couple of people that I know in London.
Oh, really?
Well,
Personally?
I don't actually know, but the look of it, the
She's
moves.
shaking her head, yeah.
There's a couple of people, I don't want to mention them because I'll end up in court,
Where the films were not rolling here.
but they're not.
A couple of people that are out now.
They're
Yeah.
out now. Oh, they were. Okay. we had quite. We were so sad though that you were. In the end, you were. You know, the end of it.
But the writers say he didn't die.
Oh, okay.
There's talks going on now about the life support
Oh,
machine.
yeah. Well, that's.
Well,
what
you
we're-
see, he was shot with a knife
Yeah,
here.
which was a.
You all
I have
have
exactly what that was. That was a
knives,
pylon ballistic knife.
It didn't go into the
I know what
heart.
that
Got that
was.
written down in there.
It was too high for the heart, And when he died, I mean, the blow of that thing, the shock would knock you out. So but I don't think he died, neither do the writers.
Just saw for a while.
You never know. You may not have seen the end of... If you think Francis de Gramont was bad, you should see his brother, Billy Joel de Gramont.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, or his twin brother, right? Yeah, that's the way it's usually done.
Jim Barb de Gramont.
Jim.
No, it was... no, I don't think he died. We'll soon know.
We'll see. We don't want to take him anymore, so you've got to head out there.
Yeah, got to go and do the...
Thank you.
Thank you. Do come.
Great.
Do come and see it. I'll